My family chose my stepdad. I chose my little sister. I was 24 when my 13-year-old sister, Emma, showed up at my apartment at almost midnight. She was standing outside in the rain, wearing pajamas and carrying a backpack. Can I stay here tonight? She asked. I didn't even hesitate. Of course, the second she stepped inside, I noticed her hands were shaking. What happened? She stared at the floor. I can't go back. Those 5 words changed everything. For nearly an hour, she sat on my couch, wrapped in a blanket, trying to find the courage to talk. Then she finally whispered it. My stepdad keeps coming into my room at night. The room felt like it got 20 degrees colder. I wanted to tell myself I had heard her wrong. I wanted to believe there was some misunderstanding. But when I looked at her face, I knew. She wasn't lying. She wasn't confused. She was terrified. The next morning, I drove her straight to the police station. She gave her statement. I gave mine. And by that evening, officers were at my mother's house. My phone exploded with calls. The first one was Mom. Tell me you didn't do this. She screamed. I did. You actually believed her? Yes. She started crying. Mark would never do something like that. I closed my eyes. How do you know? Because I know him. I looked across the room at Emma sitting silently on my couch. And I know her. Mom hung up. The rest of my family wasn't much better. My uncle called me a traitor. My cousins blocked me. My grandmother posted Bible verses on Facebook about false accusations and family loyalty. Nobody asked how Emma was doing. Nobody asked if she was okay. All they cared about was protecting a grown man. A week later, Mom showed up at my apartment. She demanded to see Emma. I stepped outside and closed the door behind me. She's not talking to anyone right now. Mom crossed her arms. She's destroying our family. I felt something inside me snap. No, I said quietly. The man you married destroyed this family. Her face turned red. You're throwing away your entire family over a teenager's story. I stared at her. You know what's funny? What? Not one person has asked why she'd make this up. Mom didn't answer because she couldn't. Before leaving, she pointed at my apartment. When this all comes out and Mark is proven innocent, don't expect us to forgive you. Then she drove away. Months passed. The investigation continued. Emma started therapy. Some days were better than others. Some days she barely spoke. One afternoon, she asked me a question I'll never forget. What if nobody ever believes me? I looked at her. I do. She shook her head. Yeah, but you're my sister. I reached across the table and squeezed her hand. Then let me tell you something. What? You only need one person to believe the truth for it to still be the truth. For the first time in weeks, she smiled. 6 months later, the case went to court. And that's when everything changed. Investigators found messages, photos, evidence nobody knew existed. The same relatives who called Emma a liar suddenly stopped talking. The same people who defended Mark suddenly claimed they never trusted him. My mother couldn't even look at me. The jury took less than 3 hours. Guilty. When the sentence was read, Mark looked around the courtroom for support. Nobody stood beside him. Not even Mom. Afterward, Emma and I walked outside together. The sun was setting. For a long moment, neither of us said anything. Then she grabbed my hand. Thank you. I looked down at her. For what? For believing me when nobody else did. I felt tears burning behind my eyes. Emma, I said, if the whole world stood on one side and you stood on the other, I'd still choose you. 3 years later, Mom still doesn't speak to me. Most of my relatives disappeared from my life. And honestly, I don't miss them because Emma is 17 now. She's happy. She's safe. And every time I see her laughing with friends, planning for college, and living the life she almost lost, I know I made the right choice. If protecting a child costs you people who were willing to abandon that child in the first place, then you didn't lose your family. You found out who never deserved to be called family at all.